Hi, Mel. I'm going to do your past life wisdom and healing service now. So, we're going to explore an interest of yours. So, you would like to know more about why you love Japanese kimonos so much, the patterns, the colors, not just kimonos, but the traditional Japanese art and culture, the beautiful pink trees. I'm so drawn to them. You'd like to know more about this and find out too how many lifetimes I have in Japan as well. All right, Mo. I'm going to relax and connect with you, and we'll see what Spirit has to share, okay? There's a romantic feeling, but it's not necessarily that, as there's sort of a burst of like what sounds like 4th of July fireworks just bursting in the sky. There's sort of eyes drawn to the sky and looking at bursts of color in the sky, and then as the color sort of twinkles and it comes down, it's just sort of, there's something of a romantic feel, but not necessarily that. There's a real awe or amazement, specifically the eyes focused on bursts of color coming out of the sky like fireworks. So I'm just watching and experiencing. There's also something interesting. It's almost like mist or rain droplets falling on the face, but it's not pouring down. But there's something of the effect of not only seeing but feeling something amazing too. But it's actually like these bursts of color are actually falling onto the face. So it even gives me that effect like those perfect moments in the fall where all of the leaves are just, it's like it's snowing leaves or it's raining leaves. It's like it's raining petals upon the face. So like bursts of colors and then petals falling upon the cheeks of the face. It's so soft and it's not distracting at all. It felt kind of like rain droplets, but it's not water. It's more like really soft petals falling like rain from above and downward. I love it. I love the way it feels when it touches my face. I'm reaching my hand out. There's something more than just physical touch associated with this experience. There's something spiritual involved as well. What am I touching, though? That's the complicated part. I'm understanding with my physical eyes and my cheeks and my face. I'm seeing and I'm feeling with the physical. But there's something of a spiritual energy here that I'm reaching my hand out towards, but the understanding of it is confused. But it's extremely positive and exciting for me, so I'm going to continue to explore it. They say it's love, Abby. It is love you're reaching out for. It is love. So I'm going to continue to reach out for it. It's funny because I'm literally extending my arms and reaching out to touch it, right? And when I come to be the observer to see what is taking place, I see a female really in sort of a state of sitting in a meditative state. And her eyes are closed and her heart is literally, it's got hands and feeling sensitivities that is feeling all of this creation and this beauty and these natural sort of effects. It is feeling everything with like thousands and thousands of invisible fingers is touching everything, and it's feeling and experiencing and feeling in the oneness of the creation. And it's pure love. It's so beautiful. The thing is she's doing extraordinary things. She's in the body, but she's projected beyond the body. Although she is in the body at the same time. And she's smiling with her eyes closed in a total meditative state, projected beyond, and sort of like the soul is dancing or in an excited way as it is experiencing this awesome display of nature. It's beyond our senses. The soul is giggling, and it's really cute the way that it sounds. And the sound of giggle is almost the sound of, is like the sound of dancing too. And the sound of the heartbeat and the sound of excitement and joy and just innocence and pure childlike happiness. And just, you know, the inspiration to just instinctively just laugh, instinctively just smile, instinctively just rejoice. Everything is happening as an instinct, and it's a reaction. It couldn't be any other way but this. So there's sort of laughter and dancing and happiness and joy of the spirit or the soul beyond the body, although the body is also feeling and happiness. It's feeling its vibration going upward. And it's beautiful. It's almost like it's a celebration of its own kind. It should be celebrated at every moment. And it's so worth experiencing day after day after day, and it never gets old. It never, ever, ever gets old. That's the way this feels. It'll never get old. It's like the first time over and over and over and over again. It's so beautiful. This woman is in the traditional Japanese attire. I'm impressed by her. Her hair is pinned up and it has sticks in it. She's just really perfect posture. She has a silence about her mannerisms, but you can tell she's glowing. I mean, she's glowing. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't even laugh. She smiles like, she's smiling, she's happy. And you can tell you can tell that woman is happy. She's glowing. But yet she's so poised and contained and quiet and reserved and at peace and in super balance and super harmony. And what her soul is displaying beyond this persona is like all over the place, touching every single flower petal, every single, examining the color exactly, and then inhaling the color, feeling the color in the heart, rejoicing in the colors itself, feeling this sort of, it's out of control. How it's extraordinary for me. I am so excited about it. And so you have two different displays, the soul and dancing and just blissful, and the physical form is so composed, not loud at all, contained and composed, but totally glowing with happiness. She's being called by somebody. She knows she must come in. She's sort of outside. I don't know what this, a decking type of thing. I mean, she is traditionally dressed. She has these shoes that she's wearing. There's a scuffling sort of way she's walking. She seems to be in a hurry to get inside. She's still happy. She's still in the daydream or the experience of joy that she was just exploring with her soul was. There is a sliding door, and now it's sliding closed. There's just a quickness about her. She's in a hurry, but she's so happy inside. I don't get the feeling that, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble, or oh, I've got to get this done, or anything. She's still in this sort of blossoms, these not just blossoms, but I mean they're amazing. They want me to describe, so she's hurrying, right? And she has these types of shoes on. It's not like track shoes. You can't just pick up the pace and go. So there's kind of a scuffling that she's doing, but she's quickly bowing before, I don't know, the doorway or something. I'm not sure. And she's in a home. It's such a hurry or a rush experience. I'm not able to make out the features of the home. I'm going to continue to examine her. Again, they aren't going to show me anything. They are only allowing me to access her heart, which just feels happy. Anything could be happening to her right now, and it doesn't matter. Because she's still in this massive, beautiful state of harmony. They show me what is a slap in the face. A slap upon her face. She feels that all right. She acknowledges it. Hurts. But she can escape this world anytime she feels, when she has these moments of time where she can free her soul from the body. I'm telling you, it's something of the flavor that she has discovered a way to project her soul beyond her body and experience real infinite bliss and joy and dancing. Her life could be, she could be a servant, but she could be, there's something in the way of disciplined for not paying attention to timing or something of that kind. And we will be accepting of it because it was so worth it. Because of what she experienced, what her soul experiences, how her soul rejoices in this natural beauty. Again, there's some conversation between her and a male persona, and it's stern. His conversation with her is stern. He is in control, the master of the house. I mean, she must be obedient to what he is asking for her. But I'm telling you, even still, she is able to display that she understands, but her heart is still singing. Her heart is still with the flowers. Her heart is still in the place. Even still, even after this very strict and very stern, harsh conversation, she's still happy. She's so really able to brush these things off quickly because of how in love with that experience is. She's still in a state of high ecstasy, spiritual ecstasy. They're turning the page. There's something new to explore is what this feels like. They're showing me just an old pen of some kind. There's just scratchings on an old type of very small journaling type book. I'm just watching the hand making the notes. Are they notes? Are they characters? It's funny because I was thinking, so I'm just watching still. There isn't a hurried sensation about the writing. There isn't, it's relaxed. There's pauses. They keep showing me an image, I don't know, some sort of painting. I've seen something of this kind before. They have hats on that go down, and then they kind of come around in such a circular way that it really blocks the sun out. But there's something more of the military effect to it because they have really long type of spears or something. I'm not able to see, are they riding on horses or what are they doing? But there's sort of a military flair to what is like a painting. But it's almost like it's really old, so even the paint is coming off of it, and it's not really vibrant or as it was originally, its final creation. This is what it looks like. It's been sort of, the paint's been thinning out, so I'm just gonna, there's red and yellow. This man he's continuing to make scratches in this very small journaling type book, and I keep going back and forth between watching the ink going on the page and then watching that sort of painting. There is a sense of a glowing fire. Nothing, it's more like a fire in a fireplace. It's not burning down or anything. It's a peaceful, relaxed state of being. It's not particularly bright in here at all. He's still focused on contemplating, and once he has his thoughts fully processed, will he write. He will not write until his thoughts are fully processed. He's not just writing away, write. He writes a little bit and then he stops for a while. And then he thinks about that painting, or that painting is shown to me, and then he chooses to write a little bit more. And then he stops. And he doesn't have any sensation of, I got to get this done, or there's no sensation of time. It's patient, but yet there's no sensation of patience because there's no time involved with it. So how fast do we need to go? How slow do we need to go? It doesn't matter. You just go at whatever pace you feel like going at. He's turning the page. He's doing a little bit different this time. He's doing some like doodle. Keeps showing me this time he's not making the scratches like he's creating the characters or the written language. He basically has his pen and he's doing sort of like he's creating a spiral image. But it's not necessarily that, but it's sort of rounded, almost like he's drawing a map or something, but I'm not certain that it's a map either. But even as he is starting to draw this, he is also flipping back to that painting. He is accepting of what he has created, what he is sharing, what he is... this creation of his. He's closing the book now. He's putting a binding around it. They're showing me him traveling. It's bumpy and whatever, he's in a carriage of some kind. He's riding on a horse, but either way there's a lot of movement, sort of like this. Like in a carriage, and it's really bumpy or rocky or shaky, and you just kind of are always bouncing. That's kind of what it feels like. It's definitely a male persona. It's something scholarly. They shift in between what is an Asian style man, but what is also Caucasian. Like maybe even a man from England or something coming, traveling to Japan or to Asia to learn or to study or to experience the culture, that sort of thing. And it's some, maybe 1800s or 1700s or something. It doesn't feel particularly ancient. The one that was scratching, it felt way older than when I shift into this sort of Caucasian man. This Caucasian man has very light brown hair, and his mustache goes down like this. He wears glasses. He also is patient, but the patience is way different in its style. The Asian man, everything happens as it's meant to. So he's more in that sort of now experience. There is no sensation of, I got to get this done, or, there's no sensation of time. He'll write in it as he feels like it. He'll stop to think about what he wants to say, and then he'll write it down. This guy, he feels more like, when am I going to get there? Am I ever going to get there? Thinking about his journey so far, thinking about scholarly thoughts or what contemplations, thinking about time again. It's not like modern times where we're just constantly sort of tuned into the clock, but it's more associated with a state of what time is it than that other guy was, things will happen when they are meant to. Different style of feeling, different version of consciousness or connection with infinite time or time. Everything is softening again. We're going back to the scene. I can hear warriors making noises and running. Their legs are really strong and their feet are really... I don't understand what it is about the way they're using their feet, but it's against the ground. Their toes and then that portion of meatiness just before the toe, like they're using that when they're running. They're running really with a lot of emphasis pushed into the ground. Every step, it just feels really heavy against the ground, but it's giving them more emphasis to run. They're incredibly strong, incredibly fit. There's a clashing noise that I hear. War taking place. A clashing sound. Weapons being used. There's nothing that I can see. There are two flags, one on either side, but even the flags are really close together. They're showcasing swords, weaponry of that kind, and there's a lot of blood being spilled. But it's interesting because it seems like they're very particular to, if they end a life, they are choosing to use the sword in a certain way that the death is instant or not. It's precision. There's something in the precision of it. I'm just waiting. They just continue to show me what is one body that has been stabbed, bleeding, but the body's dead. A head removed. The thing is, it's fascinating because I don't experience anything of fear, any emotions, anything of anger, anything of pain and suffering. It's only like I'm looking at a painting. That's all it's like. I'm watching a movie. It doesn't have any feelings toward... I don't have any... There's nothing else to share about that. They're showing me sort of a British type of... So we have this Asian type of painting, but then there's some British painting, but it's not a painting at all. It was scratched. So you have a man that's sort of drawn, but it wasn't shaded in or anything. So you just have a man's face, and then the sort of outline of his attire, sort of some scratchings to it. And then you can definitely tell he's on his knees with his hands behind his back. And he's got kind of a weird... His face is like, like his jaw is kind of dangling in a weird way. His hair is sort of down to the chin region. This time when the page turns swiftly, it's fast writing. Fast, 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 fast. Book closes really quickly even. And there's a binding that goes around it. It's a different book than the first one. Documenting history. That's what this is about. Documenting history. I'm telling you, it's more of, it's not the emotional, it's not the soul rejoicing in the flower petals. It's more of a scientific, logical feel to it. It's very male type of feeling. It's unfortunately absent of real emotions of love. They both are. There's something important here about the messages about the female reflection over the messages of male reflection. The female reflection is so happy, was really truly comprehending something far more than any of these men would be able to. They're just documenting history. That's important too, right? That's really important as well. But when it comes down to the totality, there's something about connecting with the infinite soul and developing a consciousness beyond. I mean, that woman was so happy because of her spiritual experiences that she could tolerate severe, punishments and that sort of thing because her soul was always singing. I guess you get to decide what's more valuable. What expressions are more valuable to you? There's something very important and very pure about the harmonies of the divine feminine reflection. Her emotional nature, her gifts of beauty, and her gift to rejoice and love and experience just the emotional elements of creation. And the male personas were really historical, really studying, really perceiving. The men were in war as well, focused on strength and precision. They're turning another page. They're putting a stamp in your book like it's a passport. There's something in the way of you there's something in the way of you. It's who you are becoming or who you are meant to be in this life. I'm just going to be patient with it. You're not an average female. You're not just there to look pretty, because you are really deep as well. You're diverse in your experiences as well. But you can appreciate things on a very unique level. They're showing me you dressed in these silky fabrics of these different patterns. The way that this sort of garb, it's reflective meaning, but it's really beautiful, and it brings out the beauty, the feminine beauty. It has some way of bringing out the feminine beauty and feminine glow, because the fabrics themselves are very beautiful and eye-catching, and the female reflection is also so beautiful too. And they show me you, the way that the fabric feels, the pattern, the way that it expresses itself when placed upon the body, all of the fine-tuned details of this attire. And there's something even more to this, because they're showcasing a woman that is being properly dressed. There's something in the way of a fine-tuned experience of being properly dressed, of a higher status, a female of a higher status. There's something in the way of you couldn't just whip it on there. It seems like it takes to properly put it on. There's something in the way of servants helping, or so she's just standing there allowing them to place the fabric upon her body. And so it's almost like a sacred ritual of her being dressed. Maybe she's getting married or something. But there's something in the way of a sacred ritual of preparing her body, preparing her hair, preparing her expression, her face. I don't know if she's got some makeup on, but it feels like every tiniest little detail is perfectly put into place. And it's of a very beautiful sort of preparing the female. I don't know if she's getting married or if she's just really upper class, but preparing her for the day. There's something of that as well. It's a really extraordinary feeling, and it does feel upper class, because there's something in the way that even there's an odd sense of respect that I experience from this. Respect towards the body, towards the woman, towards the placement of the fabric, towards preparation of her reflection. But then also within her, she too experiences how valuable or important that this preparation work is in preparing her to be face forward for the day. It's important, every aspect of it. So when they show me your appreciation for the fabric and the patterns and every step of the way, I am experiencing every step of the way of what are like two servants preparing a very beautiful female for the day. And it's not something that's done in 5 minutes. It's something that could take an hour, it feels like. They're relaxing me. There's something of a question here. They want me to indicate I have provided you with 4 reflections. Sorry. There's just such an energy shift. It's hard for me to talk right now, so I just have to pause for a minute. Okay. So I provided you with 4 reflections. One of them, the first one, is this woman projecting the soul and dancing in the flower petals that are falling upon the face. The next one is what is like a Japanese man who possesses a journal, is contemplating a war and putting the facts onto the page. There is now a jump to a different location on the globe, a different persona of being. They're wanting me to identify the sensation of a sort of a timeless behavior where there is no, you want to do it in a way where you are thinking about what you're saying and you're placing your thoughts, appropriate thoughts upon the page, so it is as it is intended in order to describe or explain what had taken place in this event. And then you have this Caucasian male coming from what is like Britain, and he too has a scientific sort of logical nature about him. He's thinking, his thoughts are constantly in his studies and his explorations, and he is more also sort of documenting his experiences. His style, his journey, his feel is different though. But then now we have this sort of persona of an upper class female and the experience of being dressed in this way. So these are all reflections that are gifts for you to explore. And they're showing me when I'm talking about these very different, these sort of various consciousnesses or ways of being, they're showing me they too are like little pink flower petals that are sort of trickling or falling from the trees. So now when you look at these pink trees, that's when the flower petals start to fall, you can start to see the many different faces that your soul has been. Many, many different faces, many different ways of being. Not all Asian, There is a peaceful moment here. They're showing me a single flower that this woman holds. She is perfectly dressed in that style, and she's smelling a flower. She's smiling, and then there's something about sharing this gift of her divine feminine essence. She can hold a flower of her own, or she can share it with others. Do the trees hold on to their flowers, or do they share them with others? That's what they're saying. There's something about allowing your flower petals to touch other people's lives. That's what they're saying. So that's all I can share with you, Mel. Really interesting, really neat. I'm disconnecting from your spiritual atmosphere now. It's beautiful. I'm going to be thinking about these pink flowery trees for a while now. All right, well, thank you for that very wonderful experience. It really touched my heart. And for those of you watching, if you're interested in a past life wisdom and healing service, please visit my website at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you for watching.